Hi everyone. Hello everyone.
Hi everyone, welcome.
We are very happy to see all of you here. We want to use this opportunity to tell you about the translations. So the translation in Arabic will be, if you go below next to share screen, there's a place where you can find language, no? There is English now, maybe, most probably. For the Arabic, you have to click German.
You can tell
للعربي لازم تحطه من تحت على الشير سكرين تحت على اليمين في English لازم تحطه German.
Instead, for the Italians, per gli italiani presenti, per chi ha bisogno della traduzione dall'inglese, potete premere il russo. Quindi la traduzione in italiano si trova sul canale contrassegnato col russo. Here we go.
Eccoci.
So, بالعربي على الألماني per l'italiano russo. Ci siamo? Ok?
The transmission will be in English, all the transmission on the main channel, which is here, and on YouTube. We have a YouTube link also to share.
Welcome everyone. Benvenuti. أهلا وسهلا.
It's nice to have you here. We are so happy. We waited for this moment for a long time, actually. Right, John Paul?
Yes, we did. Yes, we do. It's so nice that we are able to do that.
Okay, maybe we can start introducing ourselves a little bit. I'm Luca. I'm from Italy. I'm 28. I'm studying math here in Rome. I'm next to finishing my studies. I'm so happy about it. And maybe also there are some other friends who need some introduction. So I leave the word to Anna.
Hi everybody, I'm Anna. I'm from Italy. I'm 22 years old and I'm a student.
Hi everyone, I am Jean-Paul. I am from Lebanon. I live in Rome and I am working here.
Hello, I'm Rita. I'm from Lebanon and I'm 23 years old and I'm studying too. 3 years ago, like today, I arrived in Italy for a one-year experience. And it's there that I met Anna, Luca, and so many others. At first, when they asked me to do this event, I was a bit skeptical because I was tired of feeling victimized and useless. But then their delicacy in approaching the matter touched me deeply. And I'm so honored to be here tonight with you all in this event. Because throughout the year in Italy, I understood that the matter is not about complaining or pointing differences in our cultures, but it's about hearing and being heard. We've started something bigger than just cultural exchange. We are sharing and living a life experience together, and it brought us here to this event. And I can't wait to see where our journey is going to take us next.
Some Italians, me included, went to Jordan in order to know better the Middle East. I met other Italians and people from Lebanon, Iraq, Syria, Palestine, Jordan, Egypt, and Algeria. I was eager to go. I waited this moment for months. So I started to build up some expectation about the trip. And then I understood that some days before the departure, I was able to reset everything and leave those expectations at home. The thing that most motivated me was that I didn't know anyone. I was afraid about the cultural gap. For example, they faced things like war, which I didn't. I knew that I was about to meet guys of my age who have been through hell, and someone is still facing that. And I could not figure out how to get in touch with them. Then I told, just go there and love them to the start. Love the one in front of you, and then we will see.
So we are driven by these reasons. We want to use the friendships and the relationships that we have built to understand that behind all the news and incidents we listen from television and internet, there are people just like us, living the same lives, with the same dreams, but much more difficult to realize. Since we want to be inside Lebanon, today we have the opportunity to travel there through the voices and experiences of the Lebanese. Thanks to my strong friendship with Jean-Paul, I realized how much I cared about Lebanon, which is his home. I feel it is also my home. Through Jean-Paul's stories, I was able to see Lebanon through his eyes and to love it as much as he does.
I have to say also, the relationship between the youth of our two countries also grew in the last month a lot during the quarantine, the lockdown, because then we felt like the lockdown, the distance had no sense. The distance between me and Rita, my cousin, in Lebanon, I was in Rome, was the same distance that was between me and Luca, who is living 10 minutes away from me, walking in Rome. So we're all connected through the same platform and equally far from each other's. So this is how our relationship grew much more between our two countries.
I feel lucky because I traveled to the Middle East and meet those people. I strongly believe that today is a beautiful opportunity for all of us to get together inside Lebanon and learn more about a reality so much different from ours, but not less important.
Thank you all for this brief introduction. I think we are ready to start. And I think that in order to understand the situation and dive into this experience, we need to know more about this beautiful country that is Lebanon. Lebanon is a complex country, and lately the situation is even more difficult to understand for political, economical, social, and religious reasons. Yumna will help us speaking about Lebanon. Hi, Yumna, you can go. It's your turn.
Hi, Luca. Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Yumna. I'm 24, and I studied political science here in Lebanon. And I think this is why they asked me to present a bit of a context of what was happening in Lebanon. Lebanon is home to 18 different religious sects. For example, we have like Maronite Christians, Melkite Catholic, Orthodox Christians, Sunni, Shia, Muslims, Jews. Our parents' generation has been through a civil war consisting of multiple wars from 1975 to 1990. There were internal sectarian conflicts and conflicts that involved regional and international actors such as Syria, Israel, Palestinian factions. Following the end of the civil war, a general amnesty was declared, and warlords and militia leaders of different sects converted into politicians, leaders of political parties, ministers, members of parliament. So to be fast, we can say that Since then, we have been through many episodes of instability and political paralysis. Lebanon was frequently used for proxy wars between regional and international interests through our ruling elite and at the expense of the Lebanese people. The public sector is very weak and public services are failing. Although Lebanon has natural resources, we still have shortages and cuts in electricity and water, a failing healthcare system, lack of pension. We call the political system in Lebanon a sectarian system or a consensual democracy, where most of the time you need consensus between parties and where the president is a Christian Maronite, the prime minister is a Sunni Muslim, and the speaker of parliament is a Shia Muslim. The seats in parliament are also divided on a sectarian basis and many other positions in the administrations. As I have mentioned earlier concerning the religious sects, the Lebanese society has been divided vertically on a sectarian basis. This means that it's not divided according to, like other societies, let's say, to social classes, but according to a religious sect. Political parties led by the warlords are each linked to a religious sect. So if I want to join a party, I don't join a political party, because I like its vision, but because it represents my sect and it will defend my sect's interests against others. So we have a type of divide and conquer. And if I'm the leader of a political party, and most of the time I have the support of religious leaders, and if I want to keep the support and loyalty of my constituency, so I can gain seats in parliament, I'll offer them rewards and services. Where do I bring them from? From public resources, through my ministers and laws that my party votes in parliament, through jobs in the public sector. This is what we called clientelism, and it fuels more and more corruption in all sectors. In October 2019, after tragic forest fires, the people couldn't stand corruption and political inertia anymore. They took to the streets in all regions in Lebanon to protest against all the political class. Politically, it was a historical moment because it was one of the few times in Lebanon's modern history that the Lebanese people from all religions joined as Lebanese citizens and not as members of a sect or a party or any other group. Citizens, especially the youth who didn't live the civil war, understood that they should demand accountability. They started getting involved in emerging secular political parties who actually had a program and a vision for Lebanon. They wanted to know more about how to build a civic or secular state, about the economy, about how they could be the change. Some months after the protest, everything started crumbling as a result of decades of corruption and mismanagement. The devaluation of our national currency, a hyperinflation, for example, the food inflation reached 300%, for example. My parents are always shocked when they come back from the supermarket. Everything has been multiplied by 4 or 5 until July 2020. Pasta sauce, for example, a tomato sauce, which was the equivalent of, let's say, 2 euros, is now like 10. Diapers, which were like 7 euros, are like 30 now. So there's an economic and financial crisis which wiped out all of our savings. There are salary reductions, unemployment, poverty, a high immigration rate. There are more Lebanese outside Lebanon than inside Lebanon. And most of the people who emigrate and who are now emigrating are educated and qualified, and mostly young people. And this leads to a brain drain and a huge loss for Lebanon. And add all of this to lingering political, refugee, garbage, mental health, and environmental crises, and not to forget the coronavirus pandemic and all its socioeconomic consequences. The explosion that happened on August 4 in the port of Beirut, regardless of its causes, was a huge blow on all of us, but especially on the vulnerable population and the people who lost everything. It killed more than 220 people, injured 6,000, left 300,000 people homeless, and most of the other people are traumatized. It's a human-made disaster. People were left alone by their government to grieve their losses and the people they love, and to rebuild their houses, which is a huge task since most of them can't afford to pay for repair. Today, there was a huge fire in the port, for example, just to give you the most recent news. The fire happened in the same spot where the explosion happened, like in the port next to it. And the people who were already traumatized and who were in Beirut started panicking and escaping from the city. So we haven't healed yet, you know, so the fire is controlled now, but yes, we are trying to survive every day.
We will show some pictures of the explosion. We prefer not to go back to the video of the explosion, but then after these pictures, we will go to show you a bit how Beirut was and became after this bomb. They are saying that it's one of the biggest in the history without being a nuclear. So it destroyed, like Yumna said, a big part of the city. Then after these pictures, we will show you Beirut, and then we will move directly to Noor, who will show us what she lived very close to the port.
أنا قايمة الحمد لله عشاء.
القهوة صارت على النار، تفضلوا.
يلا يا جماعة على الطاولة بدنا نبلش أكل.
يلا حبيبي يلا ماما فوت نام.
طاب مساؤكم في بيروت تغريد وتسريب.
ماما أنا رح أروح أسهر، أوكي؟
خبرني ما تطول السهرة، شعبك كيف؟
أمي أنا اشتقت لك، رح خلص شغل وأجي أشوفك الليلة. قشت الكهرباء.
شو عملكم نحضر عشية؟
شفت لي اجت المي او بعدها مقطوعة.
شو بدكم نعمل الليلة؟
أنا اليوم رح أبقى بالبيت سهرانة مع أهلي.
يا خينا اشتقت لك.
كيف قول؟
فيني بس تقدر.
أنا رايح على الشغل بس مطول لأرجع.
Noor? Noor?
Yes. Hi.
Noor, I can't hear you very well. Can you get closer to the mic, please?
Is this better?
A bit better.
Fine. Hello. Still not good?
Sorry, we can't hear Noor very well.
Is this better?
Meanwhile, while we are fixing the mic, I would like to say that if you have any question, please write to the person on the chat with the name questions, a private message to this person. Okay, we will answer the questions at the end.
Test.
Your voice is very far.
You're not hearing it from the microphone? No.
Yes, now it worked.
No,
Yes,
it
perfect.
worked?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hello. Okay. Okay, so my name is Noor, and I'm 19, and I've just arrived to France to study. I was at my friend's house the day of the explosion, at less than 1 kilometer from the port. The whole scene was perfectly timed, and 1 second could have been fatal. My friend and I were about to leave Beirut to go pick up my little sister and return back home. So we went down the elevator to B3 level, like 3 levels underground. And 2 seconds after we went out of the elevator, it exploded and the boom happened. I was projected on the ground, and as soon as I tried to get back up, I was projected once more by the second boom a few seconds later. The vibrations were very strong, and the sound of everything exploding was so loud that my ears were whistling afterwards. Once the explosion finished, we found ourselves in the dark, covered and surrounded by dust and smoke. I got up and we walked slowly and carefully on the car's path towards the exit. The garage door has exploded too, so we could go out. We got out and stood still, looking around us, shocked in front of this chaotic scene. A woman came to us crying, asking us to help her with her injured foot. We asked for help in a shop near us, and they gave us a chair and a pad for the woman. After that, we walked towards the main road and tried auto-stopping, but no one even slowed down. Everyone was panicking. Finally, a lady stopped and accepted to take us with her. We helped her find a way out of the city through shortcuts we knew, since the main roads were either blocked or overcrowded. We knew later that she was heading to a city next to mine, and so my mother met us there and took my friend and me home. At the moment of the explosion, I faced death. This weird feeling that your life here is over. A scary few seconds full of thoughts and emotions. But just after it, I heard this voice in me telling me that my life here isn't over, and that God is, like I quote, God is with you and loved you. He never leaves anyone. It's at this moment that I understood what it meant to trust God with my life. This experience is by far the strongest and most shocking experience of my whole life. I still hear the explosion sound and the scene doesn't stop playing in my mind. However, I learned to live again and to understand more what life is really about. It's not only about appreciating more life and loving others, but about being ready to die at any moment without any regrets. To be ready to leave this life for another greatest form of life. To live your life how you want it to be, in a way that you don't regret any second of it. In that way, facing death isn't scary, and living life makes much more sense. To live your life for God and with God, trusting Him with His perfect timing, and with your life, hand in hand and heart to heart. That is how I live now. Thank you.
I want to really thank you, Noor, for sharing with us your feelings of those difficult moments just after the explosion, because I think it's hard to talk about an event like that, but maybe it can be even harder to deal with the destruction after the event than leaving the event itself. So I asked Georges and Joël. They will tell us how they reacted to the explosion and how they put themselves on the line for those who needed help in those first moments. Georges, are you there? We can hear you.
Year ago, majoring in math, and I had the chance to go to Lopiano for the Scuola Gen to learn and understand more about life while yeah. Okay, so I had the chance to go to Lopiano last year to learn and understand more about life while meeting people from all around the world and forming fraternal bonds with them. I came back to Lebanon on the 9th of July, starting to plan what will I do now, already confused enough because of the economic crisis and COVID-19. Basically what happened is that I was just at home resting. I live in the mountains far away from Beirut when I heard the sound of the explosion. I immediately checked my phone for the news, and when I knew that it was in Beirut, close to my grandma's house and my father's chocolate factory, I rushed immediately to Beirut with my dad to see what was happening. There was a black smoke coming out from the explosion area. We could see the damage done from far away, and the closer we get, the more destroyed the buildings and road would be. Okay. We weren't able to reach my grandma's house by car because of traffic and the destroyed roads. So we parked and we started walking. Through every step, I could hear cracks of shattered glass. Beirut was dark, there was no light. It seemed like there was a war going on. We could see the people trying to make it out of Beirut with their loved ones. Something that hit me personally was seeing a guy with a face full of blood and his wife carrying their baby that seemed about 3 or 4 months old and running away from Beirut. not knowing where, but with hopes of survival. While walking to my grandma's house, she was able to call us to tell us she is fine because she is not at home. Once we made it, the house was completely destroyed. There were no windows, doors, and even a wall was completely fell apart. And so was my dad's shop. All my childhood memories in this place became a pile of debris. A small part of me wanted to think that this was all a nightmare and I only have to make it to the morning so everything would go back to normal. But then again, I had to be strong enough to face it and start working on it to make it better. While seeing the damages, my grandma came back emotionally devastated. I didn't know how to be there for them emotionally. We left everything, took my grandma, and went back home. In the following few days, we were going down to Beirut for hours trying to take the personal belongings of my grandma and the most important material of my dad's factory. The YFW was contacting me, offering help. They were able to send a team of 11 people to clean up the place and put everything back in order. I cannot be more thankful for their help, really. In the present moment, our emotional scars are healing, and we are making our best to keep on going forward in life. We still do not know what to do for the house and the shops. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, George. It's beautiful to see that that life goes on and you are reacted so well to this event. And Joel is here to talk about her reaction as well. Joel, are you in?
Hi. Okay. So I'm Joelle. I'm 23 years old and I'm still studying. Okay, on the night of the explosion, the first thing we did was to make sure that everyone we knew and loved was safe. Of course, that night none of us was able to sleep properly. We felt like we couldn't stand and do nothing. We directly started thinking of what we can do and what we can give, keeping in mind that nobody really understood or knew the extent of the damages the explosion had made to the city of Beirut. So the next morning, we didn't even take a minute to think about it. Some Gen even took days off of their work. All we knew was that there were people that needed help. We gathered each other fast and went into the car heading to Beirut. I remember the feeling we had while we were on the road. There was a lot of heaviness in the air, but the fact that we were going to face this together gave us courage. When we arrived and started walking, we weren't ready to take in the damages that happened to Beirut. All the glasses on the floor, the people on the street grabbing their stuff from their homes, seeing people injured sitting in front of their houses and shops, not knowing what to do. It was a really battlefield, but we were working together, and that was so important for us. And indeed, this happened to be an experience that we have shared together and that we will never forget. When we arrived to the designated house that we knew, it was a huge shock for us because it was really close to the explosion zone. The house was chaotic. With this, we started cleaning the glass, the woods, and throwing all we throw a lot of damaged things. We tried to help and in carrying and organizing the objects that could be salvaged. In that building, the neighbor next door had died. We closely saw how painful it was for the family to come and clean their house. We felt helpless in front of this huge suffering. Since then, day by day, we have been doing different things, going to hospitals, schools, churches, houses. We weren't always a big group, and we divided ourselves into different streets and areas. And each one of us working in their corner, but with a huge unity between us. We even had to share materials and tools amongst each other, like some brooms and gloves. Uh, so one day, as a Jen was going back home after working in the streets, she has stopped. She was stopped by a lady that asked her for help. This lady seemed very desperate and like distressed. However, the Jan couldn't help her on that day, and therefore she took her contact details and promised she would do her best to find someone to come back the next day and attend and help her. So the following day, two Jan ran to this lady in mind that they were going to do whatever they can to help her. They were only two Jan. It wasn't enough. Indeed, the damages in the lady's house were extreme and in need for manpower. Luckily, as they were arriving to the lady's house, the Jan by chance stumbled upon some friends who were looking for people in need of help. So they became five ready to help her and went to the lady to start the work. Unfortunately, the right tools weren't available. Um, weren't available. So there was a wall outside that had fallen because of the explosion, and it wasn't secure to do the work without professional help. Even though the Jen and their friends couldn't do 100% of the work, the fact that they gave the lady advice on how she can maintain and further fix the wall reassured her. Uh, reassured her. So before leaving, they asked her if she needed anything else, and they discovered that the lady hadn't eaten anything for 3 days since the explosion. So they directly went to get her a warm meal, and in that moment, the lady burst into tears. It seemed more than concrete actions of help. This lady needed to feel supported. She was feeling alone and needed to talk and get it all out. The Jen stayed with her and listened to her as much as they could. And since that day, the Jan have tried to visit her several times and kept in contact with her, making sure she was eating, drinking, and taking care of herself. The child couldn't fix the broken windows, doors, and walls, but they gave what they could. In the following days, the lady informed them that people had come to her house and fixed the big damages. It's as if the Jan had made 1% of the work and left the remaining 99% to him, who actually responded. It was very powerful to witness that. And finally, I want to say that for us, whom their houses and jobs weren't affected by the explosion, our hearts were deeply broken. And it was really difficult for us to see Beirut every day like that. And each one of us tried to help and do whatever we can do. There were days we went to Beirut not knowing who to help or where to go, but every time there were many people in need, and each time we helped or just gave some support by talking to those people, we felt a greater strength to continue. Until now, we and a lot of other youth are still helping in many different ways.
Thank you, Joelle. Honestly, I feel, you know, I really wanted to be there present with you guys, helping and trying to do as much as I can, because I know that what you did for the others, what all of you did for the others was very important, also for George. We will move. I just want to remind everyone for the question, you can ask questions in the chat, and it's a private message. And at the same time, it would be nice if you can write where you're from also on the chat for everyone, just to have an idea who are the people present here. We'll move to the fourth part of this moment. Eli Fayyad. Eli Fayyad will, I see you. Eli Fayyad will be presenting himself, and he will talk about a bit about the feeling of many of Lebanese and himself, more than the reaction.
Hi, can you hear me? Yes. It's unmuted. Okay.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes. So, yeah, as Jean-Paul said, I am Ali, and I'm from Lebanon, obviously. And I'm 21 years old, and I'm a computer scientist. I finished my studies here in Lebanon, and I'm currently doing my master's degree in Politecnico di Milano. So, yeah, so I am here to tell you a bit about how I lived and a bit how I'm living after the explosion. Yeah, so what I lived during the explosion may be different from the others, as it was more of an internal challenge and everything. So, yeah, since I arrived home on August 3, just one day before the explosion, and I was not in Lebanon because I spent the last year in Switzerland, where I had a formation offered by the movement for some youth. And for me, like, this year was really a big gift, and I was able to experience in a very concrete and a very present form new ways of creating authentic and profound relationships, while at the same time accepting and embracing the pain of everyday life. And I'm really sure that these things have marked me and changed me for the rest of my life. So after a whole year out of my country, I knew that returning would be a big challenge to face, especially after this year, after everything that has happened in the country, from the bushfires to the revolutions to the coronavirus situation to then all the economic crisis that, yeah, everything like was said in this Zoom. And despite all that, I was very happy to return, and I was really enthusiastic to bring all this experience and all this spirit I had, and I was able to create in the past year to where I live. So yeah, on the afternoon of August 4th, as soon as I got back home, this tragedy occurred. And yeah, I'm not going to go into too much details, but at this point, like, I really understood that my return will be even more difficult than what I was imagining. So yeah, during my first period in Lebanon, I had to be confined as a measure against the COVID-19. And due to this and to other personal factors, I was not able to go with the youth to help others in the way that I wanted to. So after the confinement period, I was finally able to go out. And on my first outing, I went with some friends to one of the many destroyed places, a hospital in the capital. And there, like, we tried to arrange and clean the various rooms as much as we could, because with the equipment that we had. It was a very overwhelming scene, and I was really moved. Like, the blood of the victims was still present on the walls and on some bed sheets. And yeah, like, all the rooms and corridors were destroyed. Nothing was intact, like, it was complete destruction. While I was cleaning, all I was thinking about was how those patients were trying to escape, how they were trying to escape this collapsing hospital. And the idea that this location was just one of the many, many destroyed places really left me uneasy and with, like, a feeling inside that's not comfortable. So yeah, after that day, like, I got a bit into an inner struggle. And for example, I no longer understood how I could transmit this rich experience I constructed in the past year to the people in Lebanon after everything that happened. I didn't understand how I had to manage and deal with all this negativity around me without letting it take over and win. So yeah, anyways, like, this is just to tell you that I was very lost and feeling very pessimistic. And yeah, like, after that, like, I started sharing the situation with some people, and I realized that I must let go of all my thoughts and expectations, even though, like, a lot of my plans and the things I thought about has changed in this period. Because there are many people who are experiencing situations much, much worse than mine. And that was, like, my motivation to try being and giving my 100% wherever I am, even though I can go help the people. I found that this is the way for me to contribute. If I'm at home, I try to live well there. If I'm with my friends, I do not stop to have fun, but on the contrary, like I try to do it in a solemn and suitable way, without even forgetting the tragedy and the people who are suffering. So yeah, I am very sad about what happened, and to be back in a very different country from the one that I left. And now things are not getting very better, like day by day it's getting worse, and there is still a lot to do to get back on our feet. But together with many, I try to embrace deep pain and hoping to understand its meaning in the future. This is really something I'd like to see, that it's not worthless, everything that we're living. So thank you.
Thank you, my friend, because I think it's not easy at all to be in a place different from the one you really want in such a delicate moment. And we have Danielle that made a similar experience and will help us realize how much the news we hear affect some people around the world in a very tangible way. So let's listen to Danielle carefully. Are you here?
Yeah, hi. I'm Danielle Monsef. I'm an agriculture engineer here in Paris. I'm living in Paris, but I'm Lebanese. So I will tell you, I will describe the day. It was a normal day. I was FaceTiming with my friend, and when we heard the news, not even 2 minutes after the incident, the first thought I had was to check in with my parents. I talked to my parents. My mom was panicking. My father was traumatized and still living the incident. He was driving on the highway by the sea, 5 kilometers away from the port. My sister was in complete shock. In this moment, I felt that the power of our unity disappeared. I felt very weak, and I was alone, afraid for everyone. Slowly, the incident started to feel much bigger than what was thought initially. It started as an explosion, and little by little, it seems like an impossible disaster. The video started to get circulated online, and the only sound I can hear was the glass shattering while the mushroom of the bomb gets bigger. I felt this explosion destroy something in me. My nerves broke. I went to sleep all worried. I spent the night crying. I got the most restless sleep ever. It's a nightmare, a real nightmare, something I couldn't even get hold of it in my mind. All I wanted was a hug from my loved ones. I was supposed to go to Lebanon 2 days after the blast, but canceled the flight because the house where I was supposed to spend my quarantine was completely destroyed. This year has been a catastrophe. As I was laid off from work due to coronavirus. I have been having issue getting money from my parents because the Lebanese banks make it really hard to transfer money abroad. After the event, I wasn't able to choose what I have to do, healing myself, helping NGOs, or pray. I was so down emotionally that I was not even able to decide what was the most important thing to do. Lebanon of my memory no longer exists. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Danielle. I completely understand what you feel, and I know it's not easy at all. But Lebanon will be back most probably, and hopefully the way we will see it now, because now we will show you a video of Lebanon, how we know Lebanon, the Lebanon that we love. And we will show you this video. And later, after this video, we will go directly with Pascal, who will also tell us how we can help Lebanon go back to the way it was. So please, can we go with the video? Pascal? Are you here, Pascal? Hi, Pascal. We have to unmute Pascal. Someone can unmute Pascal.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, okay. So hello everyone, I'm Pascal Mounsef and I live here in Lebanon. I work here in an NGO called the Order of Malta, and now I'm gonna talk a bit of one of the donations, like if you're looking to donate or to help rebuild the houses, like how is this possible? So here, as the Focolare movement in Lebanon with the Humanité Nouvelle Association, we partnered with AMU, which is Azione per il Mondo Unito, Action for a United World. So I'm going to tell you a little bit how it started, how we got to do this with AMU, and then I'm gonna show you how you can do the donations. So, so as you all know, so we had the explosion that happened, and the we did after hours is that we opened our center, the Center Mariapoli. We opened it to welcome the families who had damaged houses, who couldn't stay in their houses, etc. Unfortunately, no one was able to go to this shelter because first, it was really difficult for them to leave their houses after the shock. And another thing was, since the houses had no doors, no windows, nothing, people were extremely scared to leave their houses because there was a lot of people who were coming and stealing the houses and taking everything inside or what's left. So after that, the next day, as you all heard, the youth here, we all went down to Beirut. We had the houses, we started cleaning and everything. And this is when the Humanité Nouvelle Association decided to find a way to help the houses, to rebuild these houses, and that we were cleaning. And we looked into our treasury. We had a little bit of money left, but it's nothing, and it doesn't even, like, barely it can fix one house. So we tried to reach out to the movement outside of Lebanon, and we got across with the association, with the NGO AMU. And this is how it all started. So so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be repairing the doors, the windows of the houses, so to have a full closure of the house. We're going to be also helping out with furniture, like a fridge, or things like that that were lost during the explosion. Also, we're gonna be trying to help out with people who lost their cars, working material, workplace, like for example, the George factory, and things like that. So, so I'm going to tell you a bit about the process, how we're going to be doing this, how we're going to be helping, so that you are aware of how your money will be going. So first, we had professionals who went to the houses. No, sorry, first. So we had like a form that was filled by the people who had their houses damaged, in which they stated like who's the owner of the house, who's living in the house, what's the income, what is the damage, what estimate they think they need money for to be able to fix their house, like the most important part in the house. After that, we did some data analysis. We tried to identify different categories, which goes under 5 categories, which I said before. So there is like closure of the house, so the glass and the front door. There's going to be, the second one is the furniture and everything that's electroménager. The cars and the working place and working stencils, tools, and with the ones who have a full damaged house, so no ceiling, no walls, like nothing left approximately of the house. And from this, we evaluated the damages with other organizations, in partnership with other organizations and engineers. So to be able to see the estimations, if they are correct, like if we can fix this house or it has to be shut down, we can't live anymore in this house, and things like that. So after this evaluation, we sent to AMU all the data, and we took it under 3 priorities. So the first priority would be the house closure and the tools for work, the working tools and working space. The second priority would be the furniture. And the third priority would be partial damages. So like they only have like 2 windows, 3 windows in the house that are broken, or 1 door or something like that, like not 20 windows gone or things like that. And so with AMU, we need to keep also full transparency. Also, we need to make sure that everything goes legally here. So we take all the bills and we do inspections that people are trying to fix their houses, so we can give them back the money according to the bills that they are paying, and that those bills are not faked and things like that. So for now, we will be trying as a first step as much as possible to fix 35 houses for the closure of the house. We have 8 cars, which one of them is a working tool, which is a tow truck. We have 6 workspaces that we're gonna also try to help build again. 13 houses that need furniture, fridge, gas, and things like that, and 9 complete damaged houses. So so we have, for now, we estimated more or less for 38 houses 110,000 euros that we would need. But this is just an estimation, and we think that it's way much more the amount that we need. We have 42 houses in total that we're going to try to achieve and try to fix. So yeah, this task will not be easy as well, because some of the people, they live in low rented houses, and which the owners doesn't want to fix the house. And if the people who are renting the house fix the house, like there is no guarantee that the owners won't sell afterwards or kick them out of the apartment or things like that. So there's a lot of things that we need to take into consideration while doing our work. And yeah, and we really, really need your help, because it won't be easy to help all these people that we we want to help. Now I'm gonna share screen. Right. So I can show you how to do the donation. I'm gonna copy paste here on the chat all the information in 3 languages: Italian, English, and French. Okay. And I'm sorry, it's not pasting. Okay. 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 So can you still hear me? Hello? Yes. Okay. So that's the website of AMU. I just opened the English version. I sent the Italian version and the French version as well of the website in the links on the chat. So you first go to the website of AMU, and then you go to how to help us and donate now. So you get to this page where you can send money through wire transfer, or you can do it through online donation through PayPal. So this is the information for the wire transfer. I also sent it in the chat. And here I'm going to show you how to do it online. So if you click on donate now, you're going to get to this page where you can see here that you can pay through PayPal or a credit card. You choose the amount that you want to pay. And here's the trick that's very important, is that you need to choose Emergency Lebanon, or else it can go to somewhere else or just to the funds of AMU. So what's very important is that you need to choose Emergency Lebanon Beirut before filling the rest of the information and doing your donation. So thank you so much, everyone, really, for being here, joining us, and yeah, I'll give you back the stage, Jean-Paul. Thank you.
Hi, it's Luca.
It's the same.
Yes.
Can you stay all with us for extra 5 minutes, because we were full of your questions. Now it will be time of questions and answers, but we can't answer a lot of questions because we are running out of time. So we are dealing with one also. Maybe Yumna can help us with this question from Matthias, which is, why do we see so many young Lebanese outside, especially in Europe, both for studies and for work? Is it more a search for the economic opportunity of work, or is it also running away to live with more dignity? Yumna, can you answer this question?
I think let's say you answer to the question in the question, because these are both, and the immigration waves started in Lebanon started like before World War I, But now the recent wars and the recent situation is more of an economic, yes, like for economic reasons, like especially to study, because private universities here, which are good, are very expensive. So sometimes they feel that if I go to study in Europe, I only pay the rent, I might not pay for the tuition fee, and I might get a better diploma, or like an appreciated diploma. This is one thing. And the second one is the opportunity to work, of course. There's always been people traveling for work, but now it's even more because of the devaluation of the currency. So whatever your salary is in Europe, it's still better than in Lebanon. And what they do usually is they send money back to Lebanon. And Lebanon economically has survived because of this. This is both a good and a bad thing. But young people travel to send money to their parents so they can live with dignity too. And now, especially with the instability and like security issues, people are really worried about their lives, and we are too. So if they want to travel, like we can't prevent them from this, because it's the life issue. Yeah. I don't know if I answered to your question.
Thank you, Yumna. I think you answered the question. And now it's time to conclude. First, I would like to say thanks to all who have been donating, who is donating, who will donate. Also to those who are helping us spread the news and praying for us. Also, I thank everyone here present. I'm so happy, really, so happy to see you all here. But sadly, we have to conclude. I was asked to conclude this amazing moment together. Believe me, I wasn't sure I wanted to do it because I knew it wouldn't be easy at all. It is not easy because, first of all, a moment in which we all feel together and from the same bigger country should never end. As you have seen, Lebanon is a beautiful country, full of amazing people. But in a more diplomatic sentence, Lebanon has been hit by a series of unfortunate events which have caused this beautiful country to become less attractive. Even its own people leave and find their ways elsewhere. It is not easy for me to conclude because I was not there during the last 3 years, and especially during the explosion. I haven't cleaned the streets or risked my life. But believe me, every single Lebanese person is heartbroken, who is there and who is abroad. Our capital has been destroyed unexpectedly. People we know have been injured or even died. Houses have been destroyed. Our country is bleeding. But you know what? We believe there is a reason Pope John Paul II stated that Lebanon is a message. A message of what? Sacrifice, unity of religions, determination, maybe hope. I'm still confused what the answer is. But what I know is that I love my country, same as any other Lebanese person you will ever meet in your life. Even when we're far, we will do anything we can to be there for the land that gave us so much, that helped us grow through the difficulties and still be strong, that taught us to overcome every obstacle with our heads high, the country that gave us what to be proud of, the country that gave us everything that, even when it's all over the news for an explosion, we continue walking with pride and love for it. The country that taught us the true meaning of the word family. Yes, a family is what we are. The way we are all doing our best to help the Lebanese stand up again, as they always did, proves it. Knowing that also you are here to support us, you, not Lebanese people, to support us makes it even easier. We will succeed and Lebanon will rise again. Maybe this is what the Pope wanted to say by message. A population that will never die, And if a small country like ours can overcome all these difficulties, every country can. And this is how I end my speech. There is no real conclusion for Lebanon, and there will never be. Thank you.
Thank you, Jean-Paul, for these words. They are so inspiring. And I want to thank all the people who helped make this event possible, all who supported Lebanon in some way or will support it, and especially all the people attending this meeting. In chat, a lot of people stated that these stories are inspiring for their lives, and this is beautiful. And someone also asked us to do more events like this, to see how things evolve in the future. So we'll try our best to keep this little family united. We are happy to do it. Maybe we'll do it. And so it's difficult to close this meeting because Jean-Paul said there is no conclusion for Lebanon, and Lebanon will rise again. And I'm happy to give you some rest. Thank you for listening to us, and see you soon. See you soon.